Hello again, it's Karen, and this is a reading for the next week, um, beginning the 20th of February. I have to check what the date was for a minute there. I've chosen a fairy oracle by Claire Namat. It's called The Fairy Book, and every time I do a reading for myself with this deck, it's very spot on. It seems to go very deep into the layers, the meaning of these particular cards. So I've chosen three cards. The first card is called the Cloud Sprite. The second card is called the Lady of the Lake. And the third card is called the Fairy of the Four Winds. The Cloud Sprite. This card relates to sorrow and sadness. It relates to experiences that we have gone through in the past and may be going through at the moment that relate to unshed tears, grief, sadness, carrying these emotions around in our subconscious and also our emotional body. And the Cloud Sprite is a very light elemental being, and this elemental being wishes to assist you to release the sorrow and the sadness, perhaps the darkness that we have experienced, the dark emotional energy that we carry around. He's so charming. He has a bunch of flowers, beautiful queen ends lace, I think they're called. Very light, delicate flowers. So that's representing nature and how nature can bathe us and soothe us with those positive atoms, those ions that relax our auric field and allow transmutation just by sitting out in sunlight or out in a garden somewhere. If you are feeling like this, like you've been carrying around sadness for many lifetimes, not just this lifetime, the energy of the earth is quickening, and it's stirring up a lot of these old ancient memories, these old suppressed emotions that have not had safety or time to be felt. We've suppressed them because we haven't felt safe in order to release them. We've just put them in a dark place inside ourselves, inside our psyche. And now that there is more light emanating onto our planet, this light is stirring up these suppressed emotions, these suppressed sorrows, these pains that have been hidden within our own energetic body and may have been carried from one lifetime to another until that moment when it was safe for these emotions to be released. And this is the time that it's happening. It's happening for people right now, this week coming up. So I feel that there is going to be tears. Tears are an amazing cleanser. Just allow the river of emotion to flow and allow it to just be released. Feel the sadness. Don't be ashamed to feel sadness. It's what makes you alive. That's how you can feel the goodness when it comes. If you don't have any contrast between sadness and goodness, you can't really appreciate the goodness because you need that light and shadow in your life. So this is a little bit about shadow. It's about the parts of us that we often ignore or we shove down deep inside us somewhere. And this beautiful, lovely sprite, which is an earth elemental. It's also an elemental that belongs to the ether, so the air. It wants to dance and move this energy through you. It doesn't want you to hold on to this sorrow anymore. It's time to release it. It's time to connect with it. So go to nature. Allow the sunlight to warm you. If you're living in a place that doesn't have a lot of sunlight, you can do a visualization where you imagine the sunlight bathing you as if you're having a shower, and the shower head has sunlight that comes out. And even when you have a shower in the morning, you could just do that as well, visualize that. Also, there is an old technique, I'm not sure where it originated from. It could be a Tao technique, a Tao technique. I never know how to pronounce that. T-A-O, Taoist or Taoist technique, which is to eat the sun. So you imagine the sunlight and you take a big mouthful of sunlight and you chew it around in your mouth and you swallow it, and that sunlight, which is energy, goes down into your body and it emanates and cleanses and purifies anything that is darker or denser or heavier. And you can do that for about 5 minutes, and that will help you to cleanse and heal. So this sprite is assisting people this week to get rid of those unshed tears, the sadness that we've carried around, pain, relationships, sadness within yourself as well, your own self-love. Perhaps you've carried sadness in the form of body weight, excess body weight. Perhaps you've lost somebody, and the grief is still there in layers, always more and more layers. Life is eternal, and we may have lost the personality or the energy of that person in our life, but they are still existing. They're still existing in another dimension, and they're always forever in your heart, alive. The Lady of the Lake. Now, she has connections to Avalon and King Arthur. The sword she carries is actually Excalibur. So she was the Lady of the Lake that presented the sword to Arthur once it was placed into the rock, and when he was able to remove it, because his soul was pure, his intentions were true. So she is a beautiful goddess, and basically she's all about your soul's truth, all about the power of the beauty of your soul, not your personality, the essence of your soul, and how through life experiences we're sometimes diverted away from the knowledge of how great and how wonderful we are, and how we don't need to prove to anybody that we are wonderful. We just need to believe in our own magnificence. I am that I am. You are loving, loved, and lovable just simply because you are. And so all the other stuff, all the layers that we've built around the truth of who we really are, it just covers and hides and diminishes that light. We're being called to pick up our swords of truth, and carry them. That's a call to arms. Not in an aggressive way, but using truth and wisdom and knowledge as power. It means that the more that you know who you are, the more you radiate a truthful, powerful light that attracts to it more light and dissipates any negative energy that's been operating in your life. So you will not attract aggression, you will not attract negative energy, because you have embraced your soul light. And this is what it's saying: know who you are, and bathe in that beautiful light and energy and truth of who you are. So we all have a purpose, we all have a reason why we are born, especially now. So this is saying, embrace your life's soul's purpose, the path that you have agreed to, the gifts that you've agreed to hone, and the skills that you have agreed to bring into this new light, this new energy from now on. So you'll notice that there's a lot of water around the lake. That's always emotions. Water represents emotions. So it's about rising above the emotional body and standing in your true energetic light, not being dragged into emotional ups and downs, highs and lows, keeping your center, keeping a very powerful, centered, grounded light. And it's not an overpowering energy. It's a very gentle, feminine, beautiful energy. And it's not about using the ego to overpower others. It's about just allowing energies to come to you because they reflect who you are on the inside. Beautiful. And the next card is the Fairy of the Four Winds. So the Four Winds relate to the four directions, north, east, south, and west. A very Native American knowledge about balance, the balance of the earth and the balance of the human body. This sprite is also a sprite. You'll notice they're very tall. They have beautiful elongated fingers, very artistic, lovely pointy ears, and very refined and elegant. So they're light, they dance, and the wind, the ether element, also present in the cloud sprite, air. So, and the moon is also here as well, but there's a beautiful yellow, beautiful energetic light coming up from the ground from this sprite. So the fairy of the four winds wishes to hone your sacred talents. So it's all about discovering what your gifts are, your spiritual gifts, and it could be intuition, it could be music, it could be art, it could be writing, it could be any of these creative talents which can be a channel for wisdom and psychic ability that, when shared with others, creates beautiful stories. So he's a storyteller, and he wants to ignite that imaginative, creative spark within individuals. So it's about getting in contact with your own story and your own wisdom, and then relating it to other people. So there'll be people this week that are inspired to blog, write down their story. They may even be publishing books. They might be involved with movies or television shows that are all about stories. Like, the stories of people are very interesting, and there's so much wisdom in simple stories and stories that run through families and just your experiences. Everybody has been through so much, and it's basically about using your stories to inspire and finding out what everybody's stories are, and then also using them in a creative way. So this is all about storytelling, which can also come in many different guises. It could be artwork, painting. It could be actually creating a circle of storytellers, like a book review, monthly book review club or something like that. Maybe even just starting a circle where you sit down and you share with people what your stories are, what your experiences are in life. And it's about weaving the threads of the story of your own particular life and journey as a soul, and expressing it, because it's very light, this card. So it's a very creative week for people. They're shedding the old energies that perhaps you've been carrying, a lot of grief, getting rid of that, coming into your center, coming into your divine feminine energy, whether you're a male or a female, and rising above the emotional pull of the past, taking your sword of truth and really blazing a trail and allowing people to see the real you and embracing the real you within yourself. The numbers of the cards are 36, which is a 9, which is completion, so that helps to get rid of the past emotional energy. 20, which is 2, which is partnerships. We also have the 2 swans there, so that's about emotional relationships and partnerships, but the relationship you have with yourself as well, the dualistic male-female side of us. Very nice. And then 39, so we have 12, which is 3, which is creativity. So that's perfect. The creative muse wishes to come out and play in all our lives. And that energy is very light energy, which is fun, it's social, it's talking, storytelling. Perfect. Tell your story. I think that would be great. So maybe do a video and post it on YouTube about your life. And I think those shows on TV that they're like 3 minutes, they go up to people and they ask people to talk about themselves in like 3 minutes. And you'd be amazed the stories that people have and the journeys that people have been on. But if it stays inside you, it goes nowhere. You need to share your life. You need to share your vision, what you've been through, who you are as a soul, because it's more valuable than gold. It is powerful, valuable medicine when you share the beauty of who you are. And those little negative thoughts that say, well, no one would be interested in that, or who's going to want to be interested in what I've got to say, brush those aside. They're limitations. You don't realize the beauty that you carry, because you're more than just a chronological age. You're more than just your age. Your soul might be 60,000 years old with 60,000 years of experience. And we need to hear that. People need to hear that. So share our stories. Powerful medicine. American Indians, I don't know very much about their beliefs, but I think that they have had a lot of beliefs about storytelling, especially between women and daughters and sons and fathers, and grandparents. So, yeah, I hope that makes some sense to somebody out there. Okay, bye-bye.